These South African Air Force pupil pilots have gone through a rigorous selection process, basic training and ground school. They now find themselves in the last few months of the path to becoming a military aviator. They find themselves at the prestigious Central Flying School.
Proud as what we are, having just celebrated 60 years of military flying training at Air Force Base Langebaanweg, so we are also very proud in the South African Air Force context to be known as the second oldest Air Force in the world. We take ourselves back to 1918. The oldest Air Force is the Royal Air Force, which was established in 1918. We are proud to know a South African was involved in that era, and there we have a Sir Pierre van Ryneveld, who was very involved, and also General Jan Smuts in the cabinet of that time. 2 years later, 1920, the South African Air Force was established. The difference is that this was now an Air Force in its own entity, operating autonomously, in support of the forces. That's why we call ourselves, and to say, the second oldest Air Force in the world.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Jan van Zyl. I'm the Chief Instructor at Central Flying School, Langebaanweg.
First of all, need a matric exemption with higher grade maths and physics. You apply to Air Force Base HQ, who then do a selection process of suitable candidates. On successful completion of this selection, you'll be put through psychometrical, medical and physical testing, and on completion of this, you'll be selected to go do the pupil pilot's course.
When the students arrive here, they do 3 months of theory before they actually start with the actual flying. The students start off with a few simulator sorties in the cockpit procedure trainer. Thereafter they move down to the real McCoy, the flying bit, and they start off with basic general flying. This phase consists of 32 hours dual and approximately 10 hours solo flight. After that, they do a basic general flying test. In total, they fly 161 sorties. That is when they qualify and they get their wings on the biannual wings parade.
The students, normally after the officers forming, they're going to the military academy, where they will spend at least 1 year doing various subjects. And after about 1 year, they come to me as the chief ground instructor at flying school. And during those 10 to 12 weeks, one of the instructors at the school rotate as lecturers, giving them certain subjects to do. And some of the subjects they're going to do is plotting, flight ops and procedures, flight planning, aviation, medicine.
I'm a pilot and I'm also an industrial psychologist, so I'm still from the medical profession. For a young person to enter the Air Force, they have to go through a selection process. That includes obviously a medical selection also. They will basically test your eyes, your ears. Also you do an ECG, your heart functioning, EEG for epileptic fits. Personality is not such a big part of the selection. worldwide at the moment, they're not really using a specific personality profile as a pilot. It's more you fit into it. And at the flying school, me working with different pilots and doing all of their personality profiles, there's an array of personalities. There's not one pilot personality. So you can't really try and fit it and also not do selection on personality per se. Obviously you can do development work on it like we do here.
They're pilots, but they must also be fit. 3 times a week, basically. They start from room inspections straight through to PT sessions. A good discipline when they get to the flights. In order to be there, the student have to stand room inspections basically 3 times a week to ensure that the attitude is correct when they get to the flying site. Before they go to the flight, we make sure that they got all the flying kit, and that includes the orange overall, which distinguishes them from the instructors, the G-suit, helmet and oxygen mask as well, within the equipment ready for flight.
The G-suit is something that you actually put onto your body. This part gets plugged into the aircraft and it actually physically blows up. When positive G's are pulled, it pulls up, it actually keeps the blood in here and in your lower body. It constricts it to function longer under positive G's.
After the students have been inducted into the Central Flying School at Air Force Base Langebaanweg, they will meet the PC7 Astra PC7, their office, for the rest of the training. This is the basic trainer of the South African Air Force.
The power plant of the Astra is a lightweight Pratt & Whitney with a 4-bladed variable pitch hard-sole propeller. It has a shaft horsepower of 750. The compressor rotates at 37,000 RPM at maximum power. The propeller then rotates at 2,000 RPM. This is the air inlet over here. The air enters to the rear part of the motor over there, goes through the compressor, gets mixed with the fuel, gets the combustion chamber in the front part here, and the exhaust rotates in the front.
Astra service intervals, we get 150 hours and a 300-hour annual. Basically, 150-hour servicing is basically just a very up close inspection of the aircraft itself and its components, whereas with the 300 you would go a bit more in depth with the servicing. Basically take out components, make sure that they're serviceable, replace O-rings.
In the morning, before the aircraft is ready to go and fly, there's 4 checks on the aircraft that must be done. First it is the fitter, second the avionic, third the safety equipment, and fourth the armorer.
After you finish with your checks, you proceed to the 700 office, where you would sign the aircraft logbook with all the aircraft's particulars in it. You would sign off the aircraft in the morning saying that that aircraft is serviceable for flight and is ready to go.
Also important thing is before they're getting to the flight is that we take them for a competency on the ejection seat, so that everybody is familiar with the ejection seat.
The ejection is initiated when the pilot pulls the firing handle, which sets off a charge situated just below the firing handle. This sends a gas flow down this pipe to all the major components situated on the ejection seat, which sets the seat off in motion. The ejection seat will start moving up because of the build-up in gas pressure, and the ejection seat would fall suspended beneath the drogue parachute until a sufficient altitude is reached for him to be released. During the time that the pilot is descending strapped to the seat, he will receive oxygen from an emergency oxygen cylinder situated on this side, which has a supply of about 10 minutes. During the separation stage, cartridge is fired in this component, which releases your pilot from this component, which is your harness power retraction unit. Parachute harness would release from the links inside the ejection seat. His legs, which have been pulled back during the ejection by the leg restraint system, would also release. And obviously the drogue chute would be released from the drogue link, which in turn opens his main parachute. The seat would then fall away, having served its purpose. What he's doing now is installing all the different adapters for the final test on the ejection seat, where we simulate an ejection. This test is basically just to confirm that the servicing was carried out correctly and that all the different systems work as it should. The first part of the test is to see whether the harness power retraction unit operates as it should. Okay, this would release the drogue parachute that would deploy the main parachute of the pilot. This test was to see whether the leg line system releases properly to release the pilot from the ejection seat.